Liebe Zuschauer, herzlich willkommen vom Parkett der New York Stock Exchange. Ich bin Manuel Koch und bei mir ist Peter Cardillo of Rockwell Global Capital. Thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Peter, last week we saw big numbers, bank numbers. They altogether earned over $10 billion, so the banks are back.
Well, so far the earnings have been somewhat better than expected, but there have been some misses. And I suspect this week, when we have the flow of earnings, and we have a lot of big names coming out this week, IBM, Google, Apple, and so, the situation might turn a little bit. I am expecting for a very mixed season in terms of earnings, and I think at one point or another, the market is going to trip over that. But for now, if we look back at last week, what happened, the market certainly decided to continue to move higher on good economic data. And of course, this week, it's an abbreviated week. And of course, we have several pieces of economic data, leading indicators, housing data, and I suspect that, the real focus is going to be on earnings. So there is still that chance that we could see a mild pullback, but from a technical perspective and also from improving economic activity, not only here in the States, but on a global scale, the market looks much higher here. In fact, we're not that far away from the S&P challenging the 1,500 level. It's just a matter of time. But I still think we might see a little bit of a shallow pullback before that happens.
So let's talk about some details. We saw last week some good housing data. The initial claims went down. Is this a long-term trend?
Oh, I think so. I think the economy is doing better. I think the economy is going to grow around 2.25%, 2.5% for 2013. But I think the real story is the fact that China is back on track, and that means Asia is going to do well. And I guess even more encouraging is the fact that Europe has stopped going down. And, there seems to be a lot of more confidence in the marketplace about Europe. And I think we will probably see growth in the Eurozone kick off perhaps in the third or fourth quarter. So that means, the Euro crisis is pretty much behind us.
We also saw the consumer sentiment on Friday disappointing. Do we see the uncertainty in the markets because of politics going on in Washington?
Yes, I think it has to do with that. People were quite bruised over the fiscal cliff, and now, of course, we're going to be looking at the sequester again, and the most important one is obviously raising the debt ceiling. But, that's going to happen. But people do have mood swings, and anytime you have sensational news continuing to flow over the networks, obviously, it does change the consumer's thinking, and this time it's no different.
Let's have a look to this week. Important numbers are coming. For example, Apple on Wednesday. What do you expect?
Well, I really don't comment on individual stocks, but again, I say that the earnings season, for the most part, there's probably going to be more misses than hits, in the sense that we'll see margin discrepancies and we'll see revenues discrepancies. But on a whole, most companies will probably beat scaled down estimates. So, we'll just have to wait and see. But again, I think, investors are really concentrating on the fact that the global economy is improving, and of course our own economy as well.
What should investors, like private investors, do at home? Be careful at the moment, or use chances like the low Apple stock?
Well, I think if we do get a pullback, I think that's a great entry point, and I'm very bullish for this quarter. I think we're going to see new record highs. There's a good possibility by the end of March we could see the S&P close to 1560.
So you expect the U.S. markets increasing. Is there just the uncertainty in Washington which could disturb us?
It could. It could give us a short-term indigestion, but I don't think that the politicians are that stupid, or will be that stupid, I should say, as to reverse economic activity and send us into a severe recession. So the bottom line is they will raise the debt ceiling. There might be an extension of it. In fact, there's talk of that by the GOP right now. And I think that they will avoid the sequester. So I think we will see them coming to agreement. It's just a question of ironing things out, and I think that it will come to fruition.
A short question. It's Obama's second term now. What do you expect of the president in the next 4 years?
Well, I was just listening not too long ago to some comments about the recent polls, and it seems that he's getting off on a strong start. And of course, this week begins his second term, and he's very popular among the voters.
Peter Cardillo of Rockwell Global Capital. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Und Ihnen, liebe Zuschauer, vielen Dank. Wir sehen uns bald wieder hier vom Floor der New York Stock Exchange.